Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm actually here doing two videos back to back. I don't know what order they'll show up in my channel, but I'll link them both in the description and at the end of the video. The other one I just did was how to pop up the back wheel. Why I decided to do how to pop up the back wheel before I decided to show you how to pull up the front wheel is beyond me. I have no idea why. I personally think they're both equally important because I'm me and that's what I believe. That's a good reason, isn't it? I think so. All right, anyway, I'm doing this on my low side. Everybody loves the low side. They just do. Single speed, it resembles a BMX bike, even though it's more mountain bikey than BMX bikey, but I don't know, it rides a lot like a BMX bike too, which is why I love it. Mostly the handlebars. So popping up the front wheel, this is an essential skill. It's not riding a wheelie, that's very different. There's riding a wheelie, which is popping up the front wheel while seated. Usually you can do it while standing, but usually while seated. And then pedaling, and by pedaling you're putting enough pressure on the pedals to keep the front wheel up. You're feathering the brake. You see, it's all the rage right now. All these city kids are doing it on their what they call big BMX now. 26 inch, 27.5, 29 inch BMX bikes. Pretty cool. But that's riding a wheelie. That's not what we're doing today. We're doing popping up the front wheel. It's just a quick get the front wheel up to get over something, and then you're going to let it come back down. It's that simple. So let's get into how to do that on the low side. Everybody loves the low side. I like saying that because it's so true. All right, here we are. This was the little bit of log that I was using in the last video, and we will use this log, but I'm not going to show you the popping up the front wheel with the log in place just yet. Okay, popping up the front wheel. Because I don't know what order, I'll just cover this again. The pedals need to be level, attack position. So pedals level. Again, some people are more comfortable right foot forward, some people are more comfortable left foot forward. You want to know which way you're more comfortable, but either way you want your pedals level and be in the attack position. I'll quickly show you the attack position. Pedals level, soft knees, centered on the bike, attack position. Okay, before we get into the popping up the front wheel, whenever I'm teaching this or I watch people try to do it, the number one mistake that they make that I want to make sure you don't make is they think that in order to get the front wheel up, they need to jab forward on the pedals. I'll show you exactly what they do, and this is a no-no. Yes, it almost always looks like that with the whole like body getting into it and everything. That is not what we're doing today. We're going to pop up the front wheel without engaging the drivetrain at all. You're going to just be coasting the bike the entire time, and it's not, the front wheel isn't coming up because you're putting forward pressure on the pedals. So I talk about row and anti-row a lot. Row is pulling and pushing your legs into the pedals. Anti-row is pushing and absorbing with your legs. Row, anti-row. Just like you do on a row machine. On a row machine, when you need to row back, you're pushing with your legs and pulling with your arms. And then when you get to the top of that stroke, to relax, you relax your legs and allow your arms to go forward, or push your arms to go forward if you're trying to be a little quicker and more aggressive. But your legs on the anti-row part don't do anything. You're just allowing the seat to slide forward, because the seat on a row machine slides back and forth. Okay, so in popping up the front wheel, you do the row part of this, only the row part. The other video I'm doing here in sequence with this one is popping up the back wheel. You do the anti-row for that part. For this one, we're going to focus on the row. So the row is going to be pulling up on the handlebars, pushing with your feet. That's what it's going to be. Let's start demonstrating that. So if you've watched some of my older videos, I used to kind of teach this technique of kind of lunging your butt back over the rear wheel. You can do that, but ideally we're just wanting to pop up the front wheel and get it back down. We're not trying to manual or anything. So I'll do a video on manualing someday and other techniques of why you would want to like shift your weight back here to unweight the front wheel and make it easier to come up and keep it up. But for just popping up the front wheel, we don't need to do any of that. So if you've watched my past videos or even other people's videos, let's kind of scrub that and start from scratch. So we want pedals level, centered on the bike. And then what I'm going to do, and there is going to be some body movement here because it's just what I got to do to pull up the front end, but it's not going to be this big throw my weight back and do this, right? So I'm going to be in that attack position, and I'm basically going to lean forward a little bit and get my arms bent, and then I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do like this huge thing. I'm just going to do a little, just that little bit to give me some room to pull. And it's a snap motion. You're going to pull with your arms. Then what you're going to do is you're going to push down and through with your legs as you're pulling the front end up. So that's basically it. You don't need to crouch way down or anything, just that nice soft balanced motion. Come down. I kind of do this with my body a little bit, and then we'll pull. We'll watch in the video because I'll be doing slow motion and stuff. So let me do a couple of demonstrations, talk about it, then we'll do the slow-mo. Okay, so now that I've actually done it, I want to show you kind of the difference between just popping up my front wheel and what I might want to do to get into a manual, or to kind of hang the front wheel up there a little bit longer, just for the sake of showing it to you. So let's do kind of the, what do I want to do if I want to hang the front wheel up there for a little bit longer. I'll show you that body shift, and this isn't what you need to learn to learn the initial pop up the front wheel, but it might be something you want to learn if you want to get your front wheel a little higher, or you need to hang it higher or keep it up a little longer, maybe to roll off of something and drop down, things like that, called a wheelie drop. So let's show that. Notice how my arms come straight. I actually had to hit my brake that time to keep from going all the way over backwards. So that's the more extreme version, where I throw my weight back to use my weight over the back wheel to lighten up the front wheel a lot. That is what you do to get into a manual. This video today, I just want you to learn how to get the front wheel to pop up and come right back down. So I'll re-demo that. So I'm pulling with my arms, pushing with my feet. And if you're wondering why you want to push with your feet, is the idea is we're trying to get the bike to rotate. And by pushing with your feet, you're pushing this way as you're pulling with the arms, and it's getting the bike to rotate. I will be doing a video on what I call pitch control here soon. It's definitely an air maneuver where when you go off a jump, you have full control in pitch of the bike, which is why these two skills, popping up the front wheel, popping up the back wheel, are essential, because it teaches you how to have that pitch control. Even when both wheels are off the ground, you can control the bike because you know how to push and pull to get the bike to do this, or you push with your legs and pull with your arms, and then push with your arms and absorb with your legs to get the bike to do this. So the row makes the bike do this, the anti-row makes the bike do this. Okay, I'm gonna do a slow-mo here. So what I want you to watch in the slow motion, because it's hard to see especially when I'm doing it regular speed, is notice what my knees are doing and what my legs are doing. You'll notice that I am actually pushing down, which actually kind of pitches the bike. So it actually, what it feels like to me, I'm not actually doing it, I'm just pushing down, but it feels like I'm pushing down and I'm pushing the rear wheel forward as I'm pulling the front end up. It's kind of interesting, but you really, as you're learning this, you're not going to start really feeling that stuff right away. As you get more experience, you'll start to feel things, which is kind of cool when you get to that point. So I'm going to do it in slow-mo, then we'll pull out the log, and so on and so forth. Oh, look, a log. I gotta get over it. Ah! Okay, so I'm gonna pop up the front wheel over this log. This is why you would want to know how to do this, and this is why you only really need to just pop up the front wheel. It's just to get it up and over something, to not have to impact your front wheel into the front side of it, right? So all I want to do is pop up my front wheel enough to get over this log. Here we go. Those brakes, what the heck? It's a little cooler today. As you notice, I have a sweatshirt on, and when the weather gets a little cooler, brakes start to squeal until they get warmed up. Awesome. Okay, there you have it. Popping up the front wheel. Super important skill. I showed you kind of two different ways that it can be done with the big weight shift. Not necessary for getting over a log, getting up a curb, things like that. But if you're going slower off of a drop or something, you definitely want to be able to pull up your front wheel and let it hang there so you can come off level, rather than pop up your front wheel and have it come down before you get to the end of the drop. That would be really bad. So you want to be able to, it's not really manualing at this point, it's just getting your weight over the back wheel enough to hold the front wheel up longer so you can come off. And again, you don't want to be way off the back wheel, and you certainly don't want to do that if you're going off anything that's got a lip or something to it, because if it's got a lip or a little bump or anything and you have your weight back, what's going to happen is the back end's going to want to buck on you, and since your weight's back, it's going to send you lunging forward and over the bar. So that manual kind of, or manual, whatever you want to call it, it's not really a manual, but like that extended pop up the front wheel, use it sparingly and in only situations where it's needed. For most things, you just want to pop the front wheel up that little bit to get over the log like I showed you. Cool. I appreciate your support for my channel. Please like and subscribe. Also make sure you watch my other video on popping up the back wheel. It's going to be right next to this one, either right before it or right after it. I'll also link it in the description and at the tail end of this video. It might actually be on the screen as I'm finishing up. Peace.